This is Clanfolk. When I first watched the trailers, it was really clear what they were going for, which is RimWorld in the Scottish Highlands. So it doesn't have the exact same look as RimWorld, but it is very similar, and it's got a very similar way that it works too. There's some subtle differences in the way that they manage the user experience, but it's basically scratching that same itch. And there's a lot of games out there that are colony sims where I start them and I sort of immediately drop off them. And so I actually, rather than just playing this game vanilla for you on the stream, I decided to play it a little bit in advance just to see if it really hit that RimWorld vibe, and it was sort of, worth spending the time to get into. And so far, yes, it has. It very much scratches the RimWorld itch for me. So let's continue the game. This is my very first game. Let's continue my very first game, and I'll show you what I've learned so far. So this is my map. You can see it's lovely. It's full of little lakes and little mountains. This is set in the Scottish Highlands in like the 1300s. We are a tiny little clan, meaning a family. There's 3 generations of people in this family. In fact, I think I've got a family tree here. So Anton and Moir, they are sort of the grandpa and grandma. Cather and William are the parents, and we've got Janet, Henry, and Efric, who are the kids. And so I started with all of these characters, and over time, I've built a little tiny homestead for them. This is the big house that they all share. They've all got their little sleeping mats in here. They've also got little mats for the chickens to sleep in there with them. It probably smells terrible. They've got some storage from some of their meat went bad. Oh, they left some raw eels in there for too long. Gah. Okay, somebody needs to clean up those eels. Somebody come clean up these eels right now. Over here, we've got their sort of sheltered storage. You can see that I've put a roof over this so that things wouldn't go bad. They got their sheltered storage over here. Right here is sort of their little workshop. There's a lot of actions that are complicated by being done outside, and so I've tried to, arrange a bunch of things over here. And I've also put a little bed because you can welcome travelers, and basically just like in the real Middle Ages, when somebody was traveling, there were no motels or hotels. They just had to find a homestead that would take them in for the night. And so I've hung up this sign and set up this bed so that I can invite travelers to stay here. Over here, we've got our lake where we do our hand washing and stuff, and I'll get into that a little bit later because it's fascinating. And also where we've got our cooking campfire. But I've realized that one of the problems, the reason why these raw eels went bad was because it was a rainy day yesterday and the day before, and my cook could not cook these eels because they were dependent on cooking outside on this campfire. So I'm like, that's not going to work. So I've just decided that we're going to build a little brick shelter here for the campfire. I think it will fit between these columns. So we're going to put a campfire in here instead of here. And hopefully that means we'll be able to cook during on rainy days, and we won't just have a bunch of raw eels, rotting inside of our house. So stuff that I love about this is so it took basically the RimWorld model. You can see it's really familiar. The shape of the walls, the fact this is all on a grid, things lying on the ground in stockpiles, little characters without arms walking around doing tasks. I mean, you've got a whole list of skills and their priorities, so it's arranged differently from RimWorld, which is interesting. You've got all this familiar RimWorld stuff, but some of the stuff that they're trying to do, which I think is really cool, is that they're trying to ground it more in legitimate our knowledge of the history of medieval life. And so they're explicitly going for depicting things that RimWorld either breezes over or that RimWorld just does something that is flavored science fiction, because that's what RimWorld is. It's a science fiction story. They do a bunch of, just wild out there stuff. This game tries to ground it a lot more. And so, for instance, these are the poop holes. So you have to have a poop hole. You have to decide where people are going to go to the bathroom. And so they regularly do this, and you have to choose where it is, and I think it can cause problems if you put it in a bad place. So I've got it here out back, where it doesn't really get in the way, though I might need to move it at some point if I want to keep expanding the village. They've also got, a sanitation. After you go to the bathroom, you have to come wash your hands. And I'm trying to remember, what is the name of this channel? I'll have to link it or something, because there's this channel I've just started following that I just started. That's why I can't remember its name. That's all about sort of teaching you how medieval life worked. And they talked about, people weren't just filthy all the time. They had strategies for staying clean that didn't require running water. It didn't require professionally manufactured soap. And so this game is making sure that you see that, like, these people are clean. They're not just filthy all the time, just wallowing in their own dung. They actually wash their hands. They drink, though they're drinking from a little lake, which means that this actually warns you when you first build this drink zone. It warns you that people could get sick from drinking from this water, and so you probably want to figure out a cleaner source. One of my other favorite things, though, is that your most reliable source of food outside of wintertime is eels. This is an eel trap, and this is legit. Like, I follow somebody on Twitter named Surprised Eel Historian, and this person has devoted their entire life to the history of the use and cultivation of eels by medieval Europeans. And apparently, just eels, they are plentiful in the British Isles, and they're very sort of like, not that hard to catch. And they actually, like, they formed a really important part of the diet in the medieval British Isles. And so you can see I've got these eel traps that produce eels periodically, and then we need to drag the eels back, store them, and then cook them in the campfire. You can see this campfire has got a regular process of cooking eels. It's all set up. I'll have to go into that a little bit later. So I've got eel traps over here too. These are going to be the major source of food. This is actually what is sustaining my population, is the eels. And the fact that I've just lost these eels is a serious problem. Oh, I'll have to do that in a second. So other things that I've noticed that are interesting and different. You'll notice that this campfire has got this red circle around it. The blue circle this is where a person stands when they're cooking at the campfire. The red circle this is where the campfire throws embers. And so you have to actually be very careful, and you see this, like, smelting thing has got a similar deal. This is where it throws embers, so you have to be very careful not to put anything flammable in that range. And in fact, this little pattern here, this little blocking thing, this is blocking the characters from dropping anything flammable in this area. Because characters, you notice, they're just dropping their tools left and right. I've got a place for them to keep their tools. I don't know why they're not putting them there, but they just drop their tools everywhere. And so if they drop their tools right next to the campfire, their tools would catch fire all the time, and that would be terrible. So they've got that going on. Another thing that's interesting at this campfire is you can actually set a daily queue of actions to perform. You don't have to actually manually. So in RimWorld, you have a couple of options with production facilities. You can either manually say, hey, make one of these or make 3 of these, or you can say, hey, keep making these until you have 10 or until you have 20. And you've got that ability here too. You can see, like, cooked meat. I said, keep cooking meat here until you've got 10 meat, and keep cooking eels here until you've got 2 eels. But there's another way you can approach it in this game. You could also see, look at the eel trap. The eel trap says we should set it up. So each time you set up the eel trap, it catches 5 eels. So this is saying you should set up the eel trap 2 times, catch 10 eels, and then wait until the next day. And so this is like a little queue of tasks for the characters. They'll make some raw eels here, or they'll, like, whatever, go through the process of setting up the trap to catch 5 eels. And then they'll wait until tomorrow. Oh, sorry, and then they'll do it one more time. But then once they've done it twice, once they've made 10 eels today, they will wait until tomorrow before they do it again. And so that helps because you can actually overfish. Like, if I just surrounded this with eel traps and had them going every single day, we would overfish. We would completely run out of fish in this lake. We wouldn't be able to fish there anymore. Another thing that's interesting is, oh, crap. Oh, everything's going bad. So I'm trying really hard. Maybe I need to make another one of these things. I probably do. So I'm aware that I'm barreling towards winter. And in fact, the thing that they warn you about in this game, they explicitly warn you that you're probably going to die your first winter until you really understand how the game works. And so I am fully expecting that I am going to die my next winter. So, oh, we've just unlocked the meat smoker. I'll show you what technology unlocks in a second. So let me, where was it? Was it food? Mushroom rack. Yes. So because I know that winter is coming and the eels specifically are going to dry up in the wintertime, I am trying to dry as many mushrooms as I can. I think my only really very preservable food that I've got is mushrooms. And so I basically got these drying racks that I'm building that I'm going to try to dry as many mushrooms as I possibly can. I've got 64 waiting here. I think I've stored up 100 here. But the rest of these are all fresh mushrooms that are going to go bad. And so I really want my people to spend some time making these mushrooms. One tool that they have given me, so you can take any action and it'll have a priority. Like, let's see, are they here to get the mushrooms? Yes, they are. So, okay, so let's say, these dried mushrooms. Somebody needs to haul these dried mushrooms to a place to store them. And that the priority of that is 5 right now. So people are going to do other things instead of transporting these mushrooms first. Any other task that's sitting out there, like for instance, cooking. I've set that to 10 because I want to make sure that we're cooking our raw food. Stuff like that. But anytime I want to, I can replace this number with just an exclamation point. And basically it just takes top priority, immediately. It just jumps it up to the top priority. But it also puts an ugly exclamation point on the map. So basically I can just target any, without messing with the overall permanent priorities. I can just jump in and say, hey, this needs to be done right now. Hey, that needs to be done right now. And then everyone will sort of make that the top priority. I love that. The game does not have the ability for me to explicitly force characters, go do this thing right this second. So I can't tell people to do it, but I can set the priority overall. Actually, that did kind of surprise me a little bit. One thing I also can't do, because you can't click somebody and then right-click something to, like, make them do that thing, I couldn't put clothes on my characters. Like, I was making a bunch of warm clothes for them for the winter, and they weren't putting them on. And I was trying to make them put them on, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. I was like, there must be a way to do it, because RimWorld has a way to do it. But yeah, it turns out, no, there isn't a way. As far as I can tell, there isn't a way to do it. They just have to do it themselves. You just have to make them enough clothes that they want to. So I think, how many? Okay, I've got 2 hides there. I think I've only got 2 hides, which means I can make a hide hat. But then everything else is sackcloth. So I'm going to make an entire outfit of sackcloth here. I'm going to queue up those actions because not everybody has got a full set of clothing. Anton, he's missing some stuff. Everybody's missing some clothes. So we need to have everybody fully nicely dressed before winter hits. And I don't actually know. Right now it says up here that it's year 1. It's the 4th day of fall. I don't know how many days are in each season. So I don't know how soon winter is. So I'm just frantically trying to prepare for it. Cogs, I'm not sure if it's Modern History TV that I've been watching. I know that that YouTube channel I was talking about, the host is someone who's kind of an expert in sort of knightcraft, like being a knight and, horseback riding and sword combat, that sort of thing, how armor works. But he also has strayed into just the lifestyle of medieval, Europe. And so, yeah. Okay, so let me say, like, basically, okay, good. So basically, I've got it set up so that people want to dry mushrooms here all the time until we have 1,000 dried mushrooms. So hopefully we'll actually pull that off. The problem is I've kind of haphazardly gone around and sort of set a bunch of priorities for tasks, and it's hard for me to actually tell. Actually, I wonder, do I... Oh, task list, here it is. Okay, so yeah, so one thing that's really easy to lose track of in a game like RimWorld is what tasks have you set up, what priorities have you already set, and how might those be interfering with your current priorities. Which is one reason why, like, being able to step in and just say, make a character do something, or make something just take the top priority temporarily, is really nice, because it's just so easy for it to get so complicated, it's hard to keep up with it. But they've actually provided a thing called the task list here, which just shows you all the active tasks broken down into categories. So I've got my building tasks, I've got my hauling tasks, my cleaning tasks. There's just a whole bunch of different active tasks here, so I can sort of keep track of what's going on. So Cogs wants to know, how do nudists handle winter? Do they just roast themselves by the fire? So in this game, as far as I've seen, there aren't nudists in this game. There are nudists in RimWorld. And yeah, I think what you have to do is, if it's wintertime, ooh, new baby chicken. If it's wintertime in RimWorld, you just have to make somebody unhappy by forcing them to wear clothes. Okay, it looks like we're short on bricks. So let's see. Are we making bricks in the kiln? No, we're making tiles. We're going to make some more bricks in a minute. So once we're done making tiles, we'll make bricks, and that'll be great. I think I've got plenty of clay. Yeah, I've got clay just lying around everywhere. So we're good on clay. So yeah, so the way that this game sort of unlocks things over time, at the very beginning, I had very few things I could do. I could not build a building. I could not, like, all I could do was just sort of, like, make some sleeping spots and a campfire, and that was basically it. And then slowly over time, it unlocks stuff. And the way that it unlocks things is with the ideas menu. So you start with just the ability to gather things, and that's all you can do. And that slowly, you know, like unlocks access to these resources that you can get. And then once you've gotten enough of these resources, each of these things, but when it first showed up, actually, let me see if I can find one that's not unlocked yet. Oh, there's so much. Like this right here. It shows me that once I've made a vent and some stones and clay and iron ingots, then the fireproof vent becomes available. And similarly here, like once I've done certain things, each of these things becomes available. So like, oh wait, no, I think, oh yeah, so the meat smoker is available. I've just never made one yet. This one with the padlock, it's not quite available yet. And the gold ingot is not available because I never found any gold ore. So basically what you do is you start with a very limited number of things, number of verbs you can even do, and a very limited number of things you even have access to. And then over time, as you do things, they unlock more things. And so it's not, there isn't like a research facility or something like that, like you have in RimWorld, where you explicitly spend time unlocking certain technologies. Technologies unlock, regularly, basically, automatically, as you perform relevant actions. So I'm going to try to not make any new tasks for a little bit, because I've got such a full task list. Another thing that they do, by the way, when you get access to new things, they post a thing over here to show you how they work. Like, for instance, the job board. So the job board will attract new workers each morning. Workers must be paid coin each day. If a worker's satisfaction falls to 0 or they can't get paid, they will quit. Okay, so basically because I have this job board, there's a chance each day that somebody could show up and say, hey, I want to work on your homestead. And I guess I'll be able to adopt them temporarily and give them a job. But I have to spend coin to pay them. And the only place I found to get coin so far is by taking in visitors. I charge visitors coin to sleep on this bed. So, yeah, so I guess we'll just wait and we'll see if somebody shows up and we can see how that works. That's cool. And over here we've got needed timbery. Produces planks, branches, and bark for tanning. Oh, okay, cool. So you'll notice that the clothing options I don't have leather. I have fur. Fur indicates that I'm making out of a raw hide, and I'm not actually tanning leather properly. So if I want to tan leather properly, I'm going to need to build a timbery first to get planks, and planks are necessary to make the other things. So let's see here. This needs 5 iron ingots, 10 twine. It says I have all these things, so I guess I'll just make a timbery. Why not? Stick it right there next to my log pile that is not yet full of logs. I should make this the top priority place for logs, so people will move the logs. So Mr. S-Box Series S, yeah, if you want to ask me a State of Decay 2 question, go ahead. I can't promise that I'll give you a good answer. It is interesting how, you know, basically each new technology that I get access to, I try it out immediately because it unlocks future things, sometimes unrelated seeming things. Like, for instance, we're making tons of cured flax stems. I don't have the technology to turn them into linen yet. I'm just piling up a lot of cured flax stems because I can. And that's it. So I think... So the sackcloth, I think we're making it directly out of straw. So we are making clothing directly out of fur and straw rather than making it out of linen and leather. And I certainly don't have any wool. I don't have any sheep. So, yeah, we're almost done making this. I should actually probably commission them to make some more straw. But to make straw, you have to have, like, sheaves of hay? That's oats. Okay, I think I'm actually out of sheaves of hay. Because this is straw. Okay, yeah, so basically, when you harvest grass, let me make a job here. So a lot of the gathering you do is made from this job list. So I'm going to go, where is it? Clear grass. I'm going to grab clear grass, and I'm going to have them... Oh, what are these? Hold on. A pullet? I have no idea what the crap a pullet is. It's a kind of chicken. Are these my chickens? Or are these just rando chickens? I know I have some chickens. Let's see. One of my chickens is over here for some reason. I've got a hen with an egg. Got another chicken here. Oh, pullet must be a young chicken. These are my young chickens. Okay, they used to be chicks, but now they're pullets. You know what? I'm going to need to build these things a barn. By the way, another thing I'm doing, I'm growing a ton of oats here. These are all oats. Their growth is 85%. So I'm going to have a bunch of oats to harvest before winter. The problem is I have no means of eating oats. I don't know what oats are even... I don't know how you turn oats into food in this game. No freaking clue. But I'm going to clear some grass because I want to have enough straw for all the things you use straw for. So it looks like we've piled a bunch of clothes out here. And we are low on branches. Something needs branches. So let's... Okay, so one thing that's interesting, you can gather branches from trees without cutting the trees down. You seem to find some trees you haven't already gathered. You can gather branches from trees without cutting the trees down, which is nice. So you can use those for like minor needs for wood without actually having to chop an entire tree down to get it. But I'm not opposed to chopping down trees. I can do that too. I just like to do it a little bit thinly, like I'll grab a tree here and there rather than like clear cutting the whole forest. And then what else do we need? Oh, we're out of iron ingots, of course. Well, we don't have any iron ore. And, I mean, do I need an iron ingot right now? Probably not. But, just for fun, let's mine just a little bit. So I like this thing they do, by the way, where it's like you click something and it gives you the option to perform the verb on it. You click the verb and then you get the ability to put that verb in other places immediately. Nice, clever little UX thing there that I appreciate. Okay, so let's see what Mr. Xbox Series S's State of Decay question was. Have you and the Undead Labs team ever thought about doing different weather scenarios? Having them last quite a while, like rainstorms, winter, and so on. Yeah, so you need to make sure your survivors are properly dressed, etc. Yes, we have totally thought about doing that. People actually request it all the time. They're always asking for us to put weather in the game. And and one of the things we tell people is, you know, if we do it, we want to do it right. You know, we don't want to just sort of hack weather into the game. We want to actually like do weather well if we do weather at all. We want to have it matter to the survival scenario, and we want to like really have it look good. We want to spend the time making the map really support it. And so because of that, that means we don't just dump it into State of Decay. Like we're thinking it through, and if it shows up sometime later in the franchise, it'll be because we actually decided to do it as well as we could. But yeah, I totally think that weather could be a great addition, like weather that actually matters could be a great addition to the game. We just haven't done it yet because we want to make sure we do it right, if we do it at all. So Moon of Deceit says that the title drew me in. I don't even know what this game is. Yeah, so for those of you who are joining late, this is basically RimWorld set in the Scottish Highlands in the 1300s. And so you are a family, an isolated family who's gone out to try to start your own little homestead out here in the wilderness. So this is my little homestead that I've built. And I'm just making little jobs for my people to go out here, clear grass, collect hay, collect branches, and they really make you go through all the steps. It's like you pick a bunch of grass and you bring it home, and it's basically hay. It's like, you use it as feed for animals. If you want to use it as like straw for construction, you actually want to remove the seeds from it. And so the seeds can be used for one thing, and the straw can be used for another thing. And thinking about hay and straw and stuff being all different things that have different uses in different, like contexts was interesting for me to discover. It's like it really feels like these folks have done their research, and a lot of the appeal they intend to get from this game is what is it saying it's missing? Oh, charcoal. A lot of the appeal they intend to get from this game is people enjoying getting exposed to sort of the real, genuine survival questions that that people would have to think about in this kind of setting. It's not just fantastical. It's like you really are learning something about, not necessarily, you're not learning the details of how to actually do these things in the real world, but you're getting some context on the complexity of it, and sort of learning a little bit about, how many different things you have to think about when you're trying to make something like a place like this work from scratch. I should probably, while I'm giving people jobs, I should probably have them also pick mushrooms, even though, like, we're well behind on drying the mushrooms to help survive the winter. I also need to pick them. However, you know what I also need to do? Speed up time. So we've been sort of at at speed 1 this whole time. Now we're at speed 3. Oh, one thing that... a traveler has arrived. Someone named Joseph. Hey there, Joseph. Okay, so here's what you do when you get a traveler. When you get a traveler, you're like, hey, man. Yes, I'll accept you. You can join my group, and I will make you the owner of this bed while you're here. That bed is yours. And so he's not going to sleep in there with the rest of the family. But, first thing he needs to do is use the restroom. I'm glad that you have to be a paying customer before you use the restroom. And he's gonna eat some of our eels. That's cool. Delicious eels. Then he's going to wash his hands. And you can see his little stats over here. Just washing like crazy. Oh no, he got a drink first, then he washed his hands. That's right. And now he's gonna go to bed. And if he likes his stay, then he'll pay me 40. If he doesn't like his stay, then he'll pay me less than 40. But either way, I can get up to 40 coins from the fact that this guy is staying with me. So that's pretty cool. Oh, William is I think William is helping Efric poop. I think that's what that was. So yeah, so they're doing so many. So there's one big thing that they are missing in this game, and I say missing. I'm putting that in scare quotes. That is missing in this game is conflict. As far as I know, I have not seen anything to do with weapons. I've seen nothing to do with being attacked from the outside. And you know what? That's fine. I actually don't miss it. I'm really relieved, actually, that the only thing that so far is threatening to kill my people is starvation, disease, and cold. You know what? Those enemies are enemy enough. I don't feel like I need to have conflict for this game to be fun. And so that makes me actually really happy. But instead of putting all of their time and effort into making the defensive game that RimWorld is, RimWorld had the defensive game very, very early on, and that's always been a part of the storytelling of that franchise, which is great. I also enjoy it in RimWorld, but I actually like the fact that they put their time into other things, like this more detailed crafting system, and things like there's a baby. There's a baby in this game. And I think it's a toddler now, but I think when it first got here, I think he might have even been immobile. I'm not sure. Wait, is Efric... Actually, I don't know if Efric's a boy name or a girl name. I don't even know if this is going to tell me. It sounded like a boy name to me, but I've got no clue. I'm not Scottish. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, but like managing a baby is like a whole thing. It's like actually kind of a complicated problem to solve because the baby's gonna have the same needs as everybody else, but the process of the baby satisfying the needs is gonna be complicated every time by the need for another person to get involved. And so kudos to them for putting all the effort into making a baby work in a RimWorld style game. I don't think I've ever seen that before. See here. So Akina Shark says, so it's like an inn where you host people who pass through the area? Exactly. Only, this comes from an era and a setting where there were not really inns. Like big cities might have inns where there's enough travelers coming through that somebody could actually make a living at it. But in real life, people would just be like, yeah, somebody can stay in my barn if they come by and they need a place to stay. And, and actually there were customs built up around hospitality, around the idea that, if you are a good person, then you will make your home available to other people who want to come and stay with you. And there'll be rules like you won't harm them, you won't rob them, and there actually are a lot of those sort of customs in a lot of societies like this that are built up around the idea. Oh man, we're just losing so much food to rot. We need to dry this stuff faster. Anyway, there's all these because like basically if you live in a society where you can't travel because you might get robbed by anyone who you ask for kindness from. It's hard for a society like that to function. It's hard for trade to happen. It's hard for anything to work. And so societies would build up these sets of like cultural rules where, if you give somebody food at your table, you are not allowed to kill them later and take their stuff. And if you do, you will go to hell. It's like there's a lot of beliefs around like that built up in places like this because people needed it. Like the only way for a culture like this to survive was if there was something, stopping people from just mistreating each other all the time on the road. And so this is modeling a society like that where like the way that you succeed is by being, an open place where people can come and stay with you safely. So yeah, unfortunately, okay, yeah. So people are sort of picking their priorities here, and you know what? It may be that I'm over picking mushrooms. Like maybe I should actually cancel some of these mushroom picking things. I think we probably do need to get this grass because we're just really low on hay, and so I think that's going to be important. But once we've gotten the grass, and now that we've picked a bunch of, I think we still get some branch picking going on up here. We should be in good enough shape. Oh wait, no, we're still really low on branches. Where are the branches going? Is the kiln using them? Are the branches used? No, branches aren't used for the brick walls. I feel like I've had people out getting branches for a while, but oh, here we go. Okay, somebody did drop off 78 branches. Okay, we do have some branches in the branch pile. Oh, here's another thing that I really like in this game. So you've got your sort of like storage area over here, which is like a general storage. You can just drop things in there. This one's for food. This one's for other stuff. But then you've got these very specific storage items that can carry big stacks of one thing or one class of thing. So like, for instance, this is my, oh wait, that's my head rack. That's for making hides. This is my branch pile. You already looked at this. You just pile this up with branches. And here, let me actually make the priority of this pretty low. You can pile this up with a lot. You can fill this with a lot more branches than you could normally fit in a single tile. And so like it's good to have this sort of storage area as backup, but really, it's better to have these. It's much more efficient with space to have these very specific piles. And so instead of looking like like in RimWorld, when you've got an advanced community, you need to have this vast storeroom full of stacks of things, and it kind of looks like garbage a lot of the time. And it's just kind of weird and feels unrealistic. That's like not how you would store things in the real world. And so I like that this game has sort of developed this idea of these specific storage containers that are much more efficient and look more compellingly like, oh, this is where you would really keep things if you were building a place like this. So I really like that. I'm going to prioritize these things. We got to get this stank out of this room. Efric, when are you gonna get old enough to contribute, dude? You're not really helping much at all here. Okay, so I'm gonna try really, really hard not to make a bunch of new tasks for everyone. So, oh, how's the farm doing? 90% growth on my oats. So I'm gonna have a bunch of oat grains that will just have no purpose whatsoever. Because I can't do anything with them. Hey, we got a bunch of eels, a bunch of cooked eels just lying around on the ground, everybody. Go put those where they go, idiots. Thank you. Wait, where did we stick the eels? Oh, they're here. Oh, yeah, this is my meat rack. Okay, so the eels are sitting there on the meat rack. Cool. Okay, so we had 178 tasks earlier today, and now we've got 79. So that means things are getting done. That's good. And it's nice to have those statistics to tell me that things are getting done. Just scan the area here. Bunch of people wandering around doing jobs. Looks like the jobs that were down here got taken care of. Still a few things lying around that need to be hauled. That's probably most of my task list. So, Zombie Brave Knight says, did you just tell that old baby to get a job? Yes, I did. I did tell the baby to get a job. Let's see. Okay, so what kind of clothing do we have here? So we've got... This guy's got a cloak, a tunic, and a shirt and bottoms, and a hat. Okay. Everybody should probably have that. What are we missing? The mom doesn't have bottoms on. Or the grandma doesn't have bottoms on. The mom has very little. Okay, the mom needs lots of stuff. William's got kind of lackluster stuff. The kids, they're not doing great either. Okay, so how are we doing on... Okay, hey, stop leaving seeds lying around on the ground. They don't like that. Make them go away. Oh yeah, don't leave the mushrooms out either. Come on. Also, I'm not sure if the characters are going to be eating the dry... I wonder, have they been eating the dried mushrooms this whole time instead of eating the fresh food? Is there a way that I can tell them not to do that? I'm genuinely not sure. Okay, so one thing you'll note, by the way, in RimWorld, you kind of manually set the work schedule for the day. Like, you can have recreation time and work time and stuff. I don't think they let you manually set the schedule in this game. They just tell you, hey, in this culture, this is what you do. You wake up in the morning, you try to take care of your needs, then you work, and then at sundown, you try to take care of your needs again, and then you go to bed. And so it just works that way every time. And so every character is going to spend a significant amount of time working on, oh gosh, let's definitely put these away, working on resolving their own needs, rather than just working all the time. Now, you can overwork someone. You can actually highlight a character and put them into overwork mode by toggling this, and then they'll work a lot more, but they'll get miserable. And so you don't want to do that if you can help it, I think, is the impression that I get. So every night, by the way, if you're in like speed 3, it'll actually rapidly increase the speed and then drop down to speed 1 once the morning comes. So I'm going to go back up to speed 3. And so one thing I don't know, okay, it looks like we did mine a little bit around here. I'm not actually sure where I get iron. Okay, oh, iron vein. Okay, gotcha. So I had them mining something that was not iron to try to get iron. So that was unhelpful. Let's cancel these guys. Ooh, a new baby chicken. Good. Honestly, I'm gonna be surprised if these chickens survive the winter. Because they just look so delicious. Oh, wait. We've got a trader and a couple of job seekers. Where are they? Where are you? Oh, they're just coming in now? Okay. Where's the trader? Okay, the trader's there too. And there's another job seeker. Okay, yes. I would absolutely love to pay you all. Hire for 32 a day. Sure. So this person has now temporarily joined my community to work. You know what? 45 a day. You're expensive. Let's wait till the trader gets the trading post and then see if I can talk to them about buying some stuff. I don't know what kind of stuff I might buy. Okay, so the trader has showed up. And what are they offering? So, okay, so I can buy iron ore from them. I can sell them my fanciest clothes. I can also sell them... I can sell them chickens and things. Okay, the female chickens are worth more than the male chickens, apparently. Makes sense. You know what? Rather than mining ore, I think I will actually just buy some ore from this person. And I'm going to take a risk and sell one of my male chickens just to see what selling is like. I've got 65 now. Okay. Oh, whoops. How do I get out of this? Right-click is how I get out of this. All right. So now I've got another potential worker here too. I think I'm not going to hire them. Oh, here's my tutorial. So yeah, it's telling me how to do it. Oh, and I can tell them, so I can decide how much access to my house they have, and like let them in my house or not, and stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna think about whether or not to hire that person. I do have a fair amount of jobs to do. We got 70 open tasks. A lot of them are hauling. Actually, let's look at this new person. Let's just say that his top priority. Let's grab hauling, raise it to the top. You are here to haul things, sir. So let's find this guy. Where is he? What's he doing? Can I tell what he's doing? What's his task? Oh, he's carrying the manure basket. Okay, yeah, so my chickens, as they're wandering around, they're just pooping everywhere. So I made a manure basket, which he collects. And then... Here, let me clear some stumps. Which he collects, and then I think he puts it in the compost right here. I don't know what the compost is for. Like, I don't really know how I use that to make things. I think that it might produce fertilizer that people can then go put on the fields, but I'm genuinely not sure how it works. Akina Shark points out that it's really dark here at night. Yeah, that is true. It does get very dark here. And I think that... Ooh, wow, is that some fancy mushrooms? Yes. I wonder if the brown-capped mushrooms are better in some way. I'm gonna put a bunch more mushroom picking tasks out here because I've got another worker, and it feels like that might be worthwhile. So we got 84 tasks today. But yeah, so I think that, yeah, that person who wanted to hire on has just left. Let's move that iron ore out from just hanging out in the middle of everything. But yeah, so I like this idea that, like, you've got a family here who they can't necessarily do enough work just on their own to cover all of their own needs. And actually, now that I've bought that iron ore, let's cancel these too. They can't necessarily do all the work they need to, but they can give hospitality to people, and then as a result of their hospitality, they get money which they can then spend to hire workers to help them with their immediate problems. I love that. It's sort of, one thing it does, it just sort of underscores the value of, like, kindness and hospitality. Ooh, okay, drying mushrooms doesn't work in the rain, obviously. Feel like I should have guessed that already. So let's build a roof over this. And specifically, this roof is going to be really important. So somebody grab some hay. There. We can actually dry mushrooms now that we're no longer just having them sit out in the rain. So that's good. I wonder, this grass looks like it might be a little bit more fertile because of all of the poop. I think that might genuinely be a thing. This still needs iron ore. Ah, but this doesn't work in the day. Oh, ooh. Okay, so let's pack up the campfire. And yes, we can place it here. Cool. So we're going to move the campfire over. So this smelter I'm going to leave out here. It means we can't make ore during the day. But you know what? Making ore is not an emergency. And then let's make a flammable blocker. Here, here, and here. So nobody places things that can be set on fire around it. And then I think I can get rid of that zone. Okay, so this is going to be much nicer, except, wait a minute. Have we not built the roof? Oh, I didn't want to build a hay roof because I thought it might catch fire. Flammability high. So I need a stone roof across that. And each tile of the stone roof requires one large rock and also 2 logs. I think I've got the logs. I don't know if I have 9 large rocks. In fact, I have 0 large rocks. So what I need to do is, now, mine, I don't know if mine gravel will do it. I definitely know gather stones. So I'm going to do gather stones. When you're gathering stones, you'll get a lot of small stones and also some large stones. So if I can get 9 stones, that will be nice. Let's do more gather stones up here. Oh, there's a large stone right there. Let's gather this. I want it. So yeah, my rock pile here is completely filled now with the small stones. I don't really know what to do with the small stones besides just pile them up. I mean, they are definitely used for some things. Like, you know, I've got a gravel floor in here, for instance. And actually, you know what? I think the floor will look better if I actually put it underneath all of the walls. So let's do that. And that will give me a use for some of these stones. New baby chicken. Oh, we're murdering all of these chickens soon. So Cogs asked, don't they use thatch or something for roofs? So they can, yeah. So there's actually a huge variety of different materials you can build with. You see, for my walls, I can make a hay wall, a wattle wall, a daub wall, a log wall, a rock wall, a brick wall, or some fences. And so, like, hay walls, you're just piling up hay, basically. A wattle wall, you're mixing branches into it. Or actually, you're making it out of branches, basically. A daub wall is all 3 of those ingredients together. Once you've learned how to make all of them, then you make a wattle and daub wall. And then log wall is just, like, logs. So there's different combinations of these. And I imagine the rooftops are probably similar. I have 2 kinds of roofs that I can make right now. But, like, I've got the ability to make these tiles in my kiln. And so these tiles are for roofs and fancy floors. So I'm betting at some point I'm going to unlock the ability to make a tile roof. I can't do it now, but there must be a way to. And similarly, there might be something that's equivalent to like thatch, like what you're describing. What is the... Oh, there's the... Why are you just leaving the fertilizer out to get gross? I mean, I guess it's gross no matter what, but still. Cogs asks if you can make stone roads. So you can make stone floors. So I guess a stone road is just a stone floor you've stretched out. You know, so yeah, probably. So I'm going to try to do a little bit more mining in the mountains here and see if that will result in me having some large stones. Because I got a couple of large stones out of that stone gathering, but not a ton. Check out my task list, though. It's down to 6. Dude, hiring that guy whose only job here was to work was amazing. That worked really, really well. Oh, hey, we got a traveler. Okay, I can only take one traveler. So I think Janae came first. So let's have Janae be our traveler. And Janae, that's your bed. Sorry, Archibald. I could probably build another bed. Actually, so one thing I've been thinking about doing was building a barn for the animals. And so if I want to build a barn for the animals, that might actually... It might make sense to also make that a place where people can sleep. That's a kind of a large investment. I'm trying to think, what material do I want to make it out of? So I've got a bunch of logs. I could make a log barn. Which would be, so basically, my house is made, because the house was the thing I built first, it's made of the worst material. So actually, you know what I should do? This should be the barn. I should make a house. I should make a house for my people and have the current house become the barn. I think that makes sense. So the question is, because I've been streaming for almost an hour, so we're probably not going to build a house this episode, but let's think about where the house should be. We've got our place where we've been pooping over here. We've got the place where we've been throwing our garbage over here. That doesn't leave a lot of space. So I'm wondering if maybe it makes sense to put it over here on this side. I mean, I could just move these out, you know, and make room to put like the house over here. But yeah, and here I got my fields. So yeah, I think maybe the house belongs over on this side. Which means step 1 is going to be clearing absolutely everything. So, now am I actually... Okay, if I say clear everything, are they just going to destroy it? Or am I going to... Actually, you know what? I don't know if I trust that. It probably just is the equivalent of clearing all the grass. You know, gathering all the stones. Chopping down all the trees. It's probably the equivalent of doing that. It's probably not just going to nuke everything fruitlessly. But I'm still nervous. So I'm going to still do that. So, okay. So let's clear out a bunch of space. I don't know if this is going to be enough space. We'll clear out a bunch of space. So now we're back up to 83 jobs again. So I really, really hope somebody shows up and wants to hire on and help us out. But yeah, so we don't have enough animal beds for the sheer number of chickens we've got going on here. So it actually sounds like it would be a really good idea to move the people over here, over to another place, and just fill this space with chickens. And we could even, we've got a little animal door out here. I could even see us like, maybe we would move our log storage. Actually, yeah, maybe we should do that. Let's move our log storage to the other side. Or maybe, I don't know. Where does log storage go? In the back. Let's move the log storage over to the back. Let's actually stop trying to build this timbery right now, because we're clearly not doing it. I mean, it's raining, so we can't smelt the ore we need for it. So whatever. We'll build the timbery later. We'll move the logs over, and then this, I could actually fence this in and make this a little chicken run. I think that could actually be kind of cool. Maybe I'll put a little fence here and a little gap for the people to come in, and you still use the poop. People are gonna poop in the chickens run. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. So, okay. I wonder Right, I know we need a timbery. More beds. Wait, why do we need more beds? Hold on. What's wrong with the beds we have? We have 7 beds. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people live here. Plus, oh, Henry is a worker. Is he gonna try to go to bed here? I thought he was just a day laborer. I mean, Janae's a guest. I assumed Henry was just gonna walk out. Was just gonna leave. Interesting. I wonder if it could be that the calculation is off. I'm genuinely not sure how that's supposed to work. Well, all the more reason for me to, try to make a barn that can accommodate more people. Yeah, I expected, because this is the next morning, isn't it? I actually don't know. How can I tell what time it is? If this is the next morning, then I did not expect Henry to still be here. I expected he was going to leave in the evening. So, that's really good to know. Okay, we finally have a lot of dried mushrooms, which is great. Making me a little bit more confident for the future. I'm going to set one more now we need to pick more mushrooms. Now that we've actually been successfully drying these mushrooms, let's pick more. There we go. Pick a bunch of mushrooms. Okay, so we piled up a ton of jobs. I guess Henry's probably miserable here because apparently I've just been... Oh, wait, we got more people. We got another job seeker. Kristen is a job seeker. For 41 a day? Yeah, let's totally hire Kristen. And then let's make some short... So I think... Did Janae go away? Oh, yeah, Janae's leaving. Okay, so Henry and Christian could potentially sleep in a bed like this. So I'm going to make another bedroll. Where are these bedrolls? Basic needs. Sleep mat, that's what they're called. I'm going to make another sleep mat in here. And prioritize it. So we're going to have enough beds for the workers to stay here, if that's what they like to do. And I've got 2 workers who are going to help me clear out all of this space, pick all these mushrooms, and hopefully get enough done that we can actually be, successful and warm during the winter. So I think that's where we're going to leave it right now, though. So we did almost finish this. We are definitely going to need to find... Okay, here's another rock. Good. Here, let's take this rock somewhere. So we almost successfully built the thing that I was trying to build. Okay, sometimes it's the time to cast away stones, but right now it's time to gather the stones together. Yeah, so we're going to try to get enough stones to completely finish this so we can actually cook during the rain. Because, I mean, if Scotland's anything like Seattle, which it is, I think, it's going to be raining a lot during the winter, and I need a place to cook. So that got accomplished. We learned how job boards work a little bit. And we decided that we needed a house. And so let's end this episode right now. But then we'll continue. We're going to continue on to make another episode that's about trying to build this house. Let's see if we can get this nice warm house built in time for the winter. And I don't actually know what's involved in that. Like, is there a reason why, for instance, I would need to build a campfire inside my house? I'm going to try to leave a space for that just in case that's actually necessary. Stuff like that. These are important questions. So for right now, though, let's wrap up this episode with a subscribe button, links to other videos, and the new episode that I'm about to make right now is going to go here when it's ready.